All right, guys, day 2 of the NBA play-ins are finished, and my goodness, both of these games were just certified bangers, like straight up great basketball. And anyone that wants to hate on the NBA play-in games, if you watched today's games and didn't enjoy them, you're probably just not a basketball fan, because at the end of the day, I don't love the play-in games, but competitive basketball on a random Wednesday that has actual value to it, both teams get a chance to make the playoffs, I'm not going to argue it, because first of all, we had the Chicago Bulls and the Toronto Raptors go absolutely at it. We're going to start with that game today. Chicago Bulls ended up winning 109-105, and at one point, the Bulls were down 19 points. 19. So it was an absolutely crazy game. Basically, what happened was Fred VanVleet started off extremely hot, like crazy hot. He ended up shooting 8 for 22, but he made his first 6 shots. So he got ice cold, and that's what let them get back into the game. I think he was 4 for 4 from 3 to start off the game. It was wild. So he had an extremely hot start and then got ice cold. Siakam played super consistent the whole game like he always does. Ended up with 32, 9, and 6. I mean, they played an overall very solid game. But they didn't account for one thing. And this is what I told you guys on my prediction video. LaVine and DeRozan have to play well. And one of them went crazy. Zach LaVine entered the second half. Basically, I think he had only 9 or 12 points. He ended at 39. Yeah. He had a third quarter where he just didn't miss, and basically the whole second half where he didn't miss. The dude went absolutely nuts. He got to the free throw line like crazy, shot 13 of 15 from the free throw line while shooting 12 of 22 from the field. The dude just was going nuts. It was fantastic to watch. DeMar DeRozan did what he does best, just played consistent basketball. 10 of 19, got 7 boards, 3 assists, 23 points. And then, honestly, they didn't get a lot of help from the rest of their team. Vuk had 14, Bev had 3, Caruso had 9, Pat Williams had 10 off the bench, Kobe White had 9 off the bench, who is someone that I did talk about, needed to have a good game. He had 5 assists, so he came in and did make a pretty good impact in his 25 minutes that he did play. But what it really came down to in that game for the Raptors, they missed half of their free throws. They shot 50% today. They shot 18 of 36. And it actually came down to the end of the game where they had a chance to tie it up if Siakam made all 3 of his free throws, because they gave him the most bogus foul call I have ever seen. One of those where they fouled towards the 3-point line, and he just kind of flailed his arms a little bit, and they gave him shots for it. If you did not see that one, go look it up. It was one of the worst NBA calls I've ever seen. I'll be completely honest. And I'm sure someone out there will be like, oh yeah, it was a foul. That's bull. That shouldn't be allowed in the NBA. Either way, they shot 18 of 36, and that's really what their downfall ended up being. Even if they shoot 70%, they win the game. They only lost by 4, but they shot 50% as a team. Siakam shot 5 of 11 from free throw. OG 3 of 8. It was just a very bad night at the free throw line for them. I don't know what was going on, but they are going to kick themselves in the butt for a long time, because let's be honest, those are the freest points in basketball. So, great game, certified banger to start it off. Chicago actually outscored them 37-24 in the fourth quarter to win by 5. So, it really shows you how much the Bulls had to come from behind. And shout out to DeMar DeRozan's daughter. I don't know if she was mic'd up and ESPN was just showing it, but she was screaming so loud. There had to have been a mic activated, because you hear crazier stuff at basketball games. So there must have been a mic near her, but it was hilarious. She was screaming at the top of her lungs at the free throw line. It was great. Next, we had another absolute banger of a game, guys. Came down to the very end. The Oklahoma City Thunder pulled off an upset on the Pelicans. 123-118. Man, if you aren't a New Orleans fan, I feel bad for you. I truly feel bad for you, because you guys had one of those years where just nobody could stay healthy. But at the same time, your centerpiece of your entire franchise for the next 10 years is, well, not 10 years because you don't get those kind of contracts, and he's probably not going to get that kind of contract and keep re-signing if he doesn't stay healthy. But like Zion Williamson had a hamstring strain in January. It is April. And just this last week, he said he's fine, but he doesn't want to get in the way of his teammates because he thinks he's in his head or something. I'm sorry, but if that's what my franchise was based around, we have problems, like some serious problems, because really what it came down to tonight, like they played a good team basketball game. Both teams, like you don't really see this that often from the 9 and 10 seeds, but like listen to this. We're just going to start with New Orleans here because we're talking about them right now. Ingram, 30. Herbert Jones, 20. Jonas, 16 with 18 rebounds. CJ, 14. Kind of a bad game for CJ. CJ had a really bad first half. He picked it up in the second half. Trey Murphy, 21. Like, and then they only had like 4 guys that could come off the bench for him because the rest of their team's hurt. But you hear that? Like, literally everyone is over 14 points out of their starters. That is a very consistent day. And then let's go over to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They got Dort at 27, which is, wow, great game for him. Giddey at 31. Giddey is the MVP of this game 100%. He had 31, 9, and 10. So 1 rebound off a triple-double. Screw you, Giddey. I had a bet where Shea had 2.5 extra rebounds on underdog. Lost the bet because at the end of the game, in the fourth quarter, he had like 4 rebounds. Shea had 32. Jalen Williams had 11, and the other Jalen Williams had 8. So another very consistent all throughout their lineup game. Like they played great team basketball all the way through, and it came down to the last second. And man, it was a fantastic game. Shea really didn't get his offense going until the second half. They were doubling the crap out of him. And so it really showed that Josh Giddey, just at a young 20 years old, can carry a franchise if he needs to. Like, I don't think he really gets the credit he deserves on a nightly basis because he doesn't have the flashiness or the crazy box scores that someone like Shea on his own team has. But, like, he can go out there and get you 39 and 10. So, like, I think that he is literally the only reason they won tonight. I think, obviously, Dort having a big game was huge as well. But I mean, that was the trio. But at the end of the day, like Giddey created so many opportunities for his teammates. It was fantastic to watch. And obviously with them doubling Shea, they ended up having to come off of him because how good his teammates were playing. And that opened up the opportunities in the second half for him. So it was awesome. It was a great game. As a basketball fan, just fantastic basketball. Jonas got hurt at the end of the game, which maybe had a little bit to do with the Thunder actually winning because he went down with like 3 minutes left and he had 18 boards. Like, absolutely nuts. So, at the end of the day, the best teams won in this. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, I was texting my buddy, and he was like, do you really think, like, the Thunder have a chance at a title? I'm like, no. Obviously, they don't have a chance yet, but in maybe even next year or in 2 years, they are going to be a problem. They were predicted to win 23 games this year. 23! Like, they won 40 games this year and now won a play-in game. So, absolutely fantastic for them. They're in the absolute driver's seat as a franchise. Like, it's probably like they probably wanted to tank a little bit this year so they could have a chance at Victor, but they have so many picks that they're going to be able to trade for whatever superstar they want eventually. They can just offload so many picks and just they'll be able to combine and throw a super player in there, like a super max player with all these young guys, and they're going to be an issue. As long as Shea keeps playing the way he is, that guy maneuvers himself through the lane like no one else in the league. He is the craftiest player in the league when it comes to driving in the paint. His spin move is electric. I mean, it's just different what he does in the lane compared to literally anyone else in the league. The fact that he plays so physical too is so impressive because he is such a skinny guy. So the Thunder are in the absolute driver's seat, and the New Orleans Pelicans, you guys got to make a decision. Are you guys going to keep letting Zion just let your season down over and over and over? Because, like, Brandon Ingram is a star. Jonas is the best undervalued center in the league when it comes to, like, his contract to what he contributes every single night. Herb Jones is an all defensive player. CJ McCollum is a stud shooting guard / point guard. Trey Murphy, second year in the league, is already having a great year. Like, you have so many good pieces there. It was honestly, as if you've been following what I've been saying on this channel, I know this channel isn't 100% about basketball, but when I talk about basketball early in the season, this was a team I picked to be a major issue in the West. And with them already out, I'm honestly mind blown. There were some other injuries, so like they're missing a lot of good players like Alvarado. They're obviously missing Zion. They're missing their other big crap. I forget his name right now, but another big that's out. Like, they are missing some serious players on that team, but that starting five for them is legit as they come. So Zion, you either need to, I mean, you came in healthy this year and lost more weight, but like, how are you going to stay on the court? Because at this point, it's ruining the franchise. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's recap. I'm going to keep making these every single day until probably the playoffs are over. So let's get excited. Playoffs are going to be absolutely fantastic. We got to throw this in here now. So now we have Chicago going to play Miami to get into the last and final 8th seed. And then you have the Oklahoma City Thunder going and playing. Who won yesterday? Minnesota. Or who lost? Minnesota. So that is the games going forward. Super exciting. If I'm going to make a prediction here, I would have to say Oklahoma City are going to beat Minnesota just because Minnesota, I mean, if Rudy plays, maybe I'll give him a chance, but I don't think he's going to be eligible. He's just suspended currently. So if he plays, maybe. I'd call probably the Thunder, and then Miami versus Chicago. Flip a coin. Like I said before today's game, Chicago is literally the most inconsistent team in the NBA. Zach LaVine dropped 39 tonight, so they won. Are DeRozan and him going to play consistent again? Who knows? So I would probably, if I had to put money on it, I'd probably bet on Miami. I think there's no way Jimmy Butler plays really bad again. I think that Kyle Lowry coming off that big game is going to have some momentum. I'd pick Miami, but I'll be rooting for Chicago because I'm a huge DeMar DeRozan fan. So I appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and peace out. Deuces.